Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share yet another video about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. This is an unboxing, even though it's of nearly the same product I've already covered, which of course is the Tab S7 Plus right here. Mystic Black, 128 gigs of internal storage, 6 gigs of RAM. I decided, what the hell, let's do it. So I will be trading in my Tab S6 for those of you that have seen my comparison. You already know that the Tab S6, in my opinion, was the best Android tablet ever made. But the Tab S7 Plus now holds that title. And for $450 on the trade-in, I think it is well worth it going towards the Tab S7 Plus. But this configuration is the Mystic Silver, 256 gigs of internal storage, and the 8 gigs of RAM that, at least for myself, I'd rather have than the 6. Now, that's not to say that the 6 gig version isn't capable. It completely is. But with the amount of money that these devices command, I personally would rather have the 8 gig version. So the Tab S6, it's a sad goodbye because I do think it still serves a great purpose. If you don't want a large tablet, I still prefer this over the Tab S7. Yes, the Tab S7 has the 120 hertz refresh rate. It has a slightly larger display. It has a better processor. But at the end of the day, I would rather have an AMOLED under any circumstance. And I'm not saying that if you buy the Tab S7, you've made a mistake. Many of you have asked me why I dismissed it completely. It's simply because I do not believe in going backwards when it comes to technology, and leaving an AMOLED for an LCD is going backwards. So with that said, let's get this out of the box. By the way, the keyboard cover, book cover is fantastic this generation. Samsung addressed all of the issues with the previous gen, and we have a fantastic product now, unlike the previous gen. Do I still think it's too expensive for what it is? Yeah, I do. But that's not a big deal when you take into account that we are getting, in my opinion, the best tablet on the market, not just the best Android tablet. And I know many people out there will say, well, what about the iPad Pro? What about it? When the iPad Pro has an AMOLED, get back to me. When the iPad Pro has DeX, like a true desktop experience, get back to me. Until then, I don't have any interest in that product, especially now that we have something that, in my opinion, is superior in just about every way other than software support, which will come with time because we now have a real competitor. So let's take a look at what the Silver looks like. And, you know, the 128 model is going to go to a family member. This one is going to be for me. So for those of you that wonder, I do prefer this color over the Mystic Black, even though my Fold is the Mystic Black color. Can't go wrong with black. You know, it's just basically there's nothing gaudy, ostentatious, and the same applies here to the Silver. In terms of fingerprints, this is looking pretty good right now. I mean, if anybody could leave a fingerprint, it's me, and I'm not seeing a thing, so I like the finish. You see them on the other side. Let's see if we've got any juice out of the box. But overall, just excited to be joining the Tab S7 Plus club because, you know, when I covered it for my audience, for all of you, but I wasn't sure that I was going to really jump on board. But after spending the time that I have with it, there's no looking back. And that often happens with me. I said it in one of my previous videos that I was afraid that I might want to make the transition even if I didn't need to. And well, here I am. So you do get a Silver S Pen as well. By the way, the S Pen is, in my opinion, a major improvement over the previous generation. It's not a different world, but anything that gets closer to feeling like a pen is a legitimate improvement. And that's exactly what we have. Now, I'm not going to be sending them any diagnostics, you know, but the rest they can have. And I'll get this set up, but anyone who's actually seen my coverage already knows what I have to say about this tablet in general. My coverage is only going to become more in depth. I'm also going to be testing this out in conjunction with Lenovo's new ThinkVision M14T, which is, outside of a Wacom product, one of the coolest portable monitors on the market ever. Granted, you've got an S Pen here and all types of capability, but it's just very interesting to be able to use this in conjunction with a secondary display, have a dual screen setup. Of course, you can do that with a traditional PC, but I do think that'll be an interesting pairing. So this is getting set up. Let's let it do that. Power brick, of course, right there. SIM tool for the micro SD card slot. I plan on throwing at least a 512, if not a 1 terabyte in this bad boy. Do I wish that I'd gone with the 512? No, because the 512 is just egregious. The price point is already steep enough. I mean, this is $930 for an Android tablet. And really, at the end of the day, the only reason that I'm making this transition is because of Samsung's trade-in value. Well, almost went the wrong way there, huh? So that's the truth of the matter for me personally, and I'm not saying that's the truth of the matter for everyone else out there. If Samsung didn't offer as good a deal on the trade-in, I'm not sure I would jump on this. And I say that because, you have to bear in mind that with the Tab S6, if you're a subscriber, if you follow the channel, then you know what I spent on that because you know the trade-in deal that was here last year. And I'll just get these side by sides here, able to see black S Pen and, of course, the Mystic Black tablet, which is almost more like a gray than a black. And that's part of the reason that I went with the silver. Let me go ahead and get this right next to it. And essentially, the price I ended up paying for the Tab S6 last year with the trade-in, there you have them side by side. And I will be comparing if there is any realistic, tangible performance difference between the 8 gigs that we have here and the 6 that we have in the Mystic Black. Get the keyboard cover out of the way. This is a must-have accessory for this if you plan to do anything other than consume content. I mean, Samsung has just finally got that right, which it shouldn't have been so tough. But back to what I was saying, the original Tab S6, which I have right here, this I ended up paying with the purchase of it was the Note 10 Plus and then the $200 credit for pre-order. This ended up being, this is the 8 gig, 256 gig model, internal storage. This ended up being around $530. So to get $450 in credit for it, that's basically better than I could do selling this if I wanted to. And it's in perfect condition. That's not an issue. But to get that direct from the manufacturer, I'm happy to give it back to Samsung. And so $450 invested into this $930 model, plus a little bit of discounts here and there. We're talking about a little over $500. I'm okay with that. I mean, to me, that is a palatable price point. I don't like these cycles that, all manufacturers have created, but it's the world we live in these days. And I'm willing to pay for the Play in this case. And the Play is very good with the S7 Plus. I mean, better than any tablet I've picked up before. So, I, again, will be addressing if I do see a real difference. I don't expect to see one. So if you're on the fence, about which tablet you should pick up, should you go with the 6 gig or 8 gig model, I'll touch on that, but I don't think there's going to be a world of difference. Do I think it's better to have headroom? Always. I mean, headroom generally is never going to hurt you, so you're never going to hear me say, no, definitely don't get the 8 gig model. But these tablets are really expensive. Some of you out there keep saying, oh, they're not that expensive. Think about the technology. Yeah, they're really expensive. I could be buying a PC. I could be buying an NVIDIA 3080 if they're ever in stock. So it's all about decisions, priorities, and what you actually need. But for me, with the $450 trade-in value, Samsung got me again. This is a deal I just cannot refuse. So got the color I personally prefer on launch day. This was all I could pick up. And now I've got enough storage that I can really use this in a different way. The 128 out of the box is fine for most users. But if you're like me and you use anything like the Insta360 1-inch edition or either the DJI Osmo Action or Osmo Pocket, which really require a device like this or a phone that's very competent with a good amount of mass storage, then it's, this is a must-have device. So for me, that's where this is going. And then pair it up with something like the Sabrent 2 gig rugged drive, and you've just got a great little monster here for everything that you can do that you don't require a PC for. When I do need a PC, I'll break out my HP Spectre X360 13T, which is still a fantastic machine, but I see value in this. I didn't think I would because of the 13T. I didn't think there was going to really be a need to upgrade. After all, the 13T is 4K, which I prefer. It's AMOLED, just like this, 13.3 inches. It's larger. But ultimately, when the pandemic is over, when I actually get to travel, when we all do, and those of you that are, you've got more balls than brains, and that's not necessarily a good thing. I will be looking forward to being able to take a tablet that really can get just about everything done rather than a laptop. And laptops are great. I love my 13T. I mean, it is the best Ultrabook I've ever had. Yeah, the speakers aren't great. Speakers are actually better here, but it's just going to be interesting to see how much I can get done with this with DeX. DeX was great on the Tab S6, but here we've got more horsepower, and that 120 hertz 12.4-inch AMOLED display is just gorgeous. You're not going to find that on a laptop right now. So that is a distinct advantage this has over every other device on the market, including the crappy iPad Pro. And I call it crappy because, look, iPad, it's a brand. It's got a very strong following, and it has a high refresh rate, but you're not getting an AMOLED. And I'm sorry, at those price points, I consider these expensive, and it's not because I don't have the cash to spend on them. It's because I know what tech is literally worth. And when you do, I have no problem giving companies profits. I do have a problem bending over for them. So again, Samsung, kudos for making the best tablet ever, and you got me to buy 2 of them. I mean, holy crap, how much better can it get for Sammy, right? And I am pretty discerning. If you follow my channel, you already know that. But that just sums things up. This was an unboxing, an update, a little bit of both, a little bit of, unfortunately, trade-in sorrow, because I will miss this little guy. But at the end of the day, I do think it's the sound decision, considering the value that Samsung's putting on this. And that's critical. When manufacturers reward you for being a customer, and I do see this as being a reward, I mean, literally a $100 and change difference in terms of the value I paid for it versus what I'm getting back. And that's just to get something that is bigger and better and that I will appreciate and use in a different way. Samsung deserves credit for that too. That's not something you'll see from Apple. It's not something you'll see from Microsoft. Yeah, they're throwing out big trade-in values for the Duo, but the Duo is basically a toilet paper roll as far as I'm concerned. So the Neo, I expect great things from. The Duo, let's go to round 2. At any rate, that was just a quick update on, again, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 Plus. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe, and please stay safe. Later.